So anyway, what led you to begin the journey for Grungy Gentleman?
Well, I was hearing a lot from my friends that I should do something in fashion along the lines of either blogging or some kind of consulting, styling, or designing, which is obviously a broad spectrum, but they knew I should be in that field. And on my birthday, I went to Barney's to pick out an outfit, which was actually a theme party. It was an all-black everything party. My buddy works in nightlife, and I was supporting his event. And I was in the Rag & Bone pop-up shop section of Barney's, and I asked the gentleman who turned out to be the director of sales of Rag & Bone something about along the lines of getting a black and white gingham shirt. And when I spoke to him, he told me that he didn't work at Barney's and that he worked for Rag & Bone, like I said. And I told him how much I loved, the line, and just kind of really casually told him though. And he told me, well, you could just tell the designer right over there. And I was like, what? Yeah, exactly. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, that's Dave Neville, and he's the designer of Rag & Bone. Well, to sort of try and concise this long story, we ended up speaking for like 20-25 minutes. He really took into account a lot of points I said, and really, he seemed to value my opinion. And when I heard that and really took it in, like later on in the day, I said, wow, maybe I really could do something with this, because if I could uphold a conversation with one of the designers of Rag & Bone, who they won CFDA best, designer, and maybe I should really do something with this. So one thing led to another, and here we are. It goes back to the passion. I think you have to be authentic. The reason why I do write so strongly about these lines is because I only deal with lines that I truly like. Right. I never deal with a line that I haven't seen, or seen it in person or in a store at least, or even own a piece. If I do not, they either send me, I need to see something, or I don't do it, because once you lose that authenticity, it's just obvious in your reading. And I always say this, as politically incorrect as this may sound, I don't like to whore out posts. I like to make them, I like to bring it each one. That's why I show such a broad and big, instead of focusing on one collection in a post, I might bounce around from fall and spring and even in a year's past, because I like to show the overall, what the company's about. And I think that if you keep that authenticity, your readers know it. And it sometimes gets confused, like I said, is I'm kissing their ass, but it's really, I'm just writing about stuff that I believe in. Right. And like I said, I believe in menswear. And so I think my niche in the market is definitely, obviously it's high-end men's fashion, but it's with a lot of, it's more authentic to the man. Okay. You can use that as a photo, because it's just true. Yeah, it is. I try to be authentic to the man, and just if you stay on the track of really writing about what you believe in, and a lot of people email me and want to me to write them up or whatever, but you got to look at it as, well, my followers are going to be reading it, and should I be wasting their time? Right. And it sounds harsh, but in reality, I'm just trying to weed out what, I don't want to say I just want to make sure that when people go to my blog, they expect a certain level of product that I'm going to be, speaking about, and a quality of work that I'm doing just overall, and stay on that. And if you keep on doing, quality stuff, it'll eventually work. Okay. Alright, here's the true and uncut story. I was on my lunch break. I was working as a paralegal prior to Grungy Gentleman, and I bought a URL later that night from Rag & Bone at that Barney's fiasco. I blurted out somehow when we were out that night that I was going to do it to my friends, and I really was BSing, but I just said it when I guess I was having a good time, and I said that I had a name, and it was Grungy Gentleman. So the next morning, we were going to La Esquina the next night for actually because it was my actual birthday, and my friends wouldn't let me go until I bought the URL from last night because they reminded me about it. So I bought the URL, a week went by, nothing happened. Random day, like I said, I was a paralegal, I'm on my lunch break, and I see that Gant Rugger, which I am a huge fan of, was opening a store in the West Village. And I figured, hey, let me just call them and see, what the deal is. I'm very passionate about menswear, and I should pretend like, I'm gonna really implement this because I did believe in it. I just didn't really think I was really gonna do it. P.S. 4 hours later, had an interview with the designer, Chris, who's now become a great friend and great supporter. And I mean, I'm super supportive of his line. His line is incredible. One of the, I mean, it's getting everywhere now. I mean, his sweater, I can go on and on. His blazers and the ties, and he's just like, I even got a compliment from Josie at PJ Clark's doing fashion week. I was wearing a Gant Rugger tie, and anyway, turned out to be my first piece, and I started reaching out to my network and getting a graphic designer for a logo, and then putting the website together. But I would not post on my site, even though I actually had that first interview before my site was ready. And I would not put the content until the layout is ready. I think that appearance, especially when you're dealing with something so high end, like the type of product that I'm dealing with on my site, I think it's important to have that fit that aesthetic in all categories.
Right.
But yeah, that's how it is. I want to write for GQ. I think GQ is the pinnacle of men's fashion. I like to refer to them as the Yankees. I mean, GQ is my Bible. We could, Laureate from Confederacy said the same quote, and it's something I've actually been saying forever as well. So when she said it, I actually accented it and tweeted at GQ, and they retweeted me about it. But it's just the truth. I had the privilege of meeting Jim and Jim during Fashion Week. There is an aura and an excellence that my whole fashion knowledge, everything, started with GQ. I like to think that I took it and ran a little bit, but GQ is where it all started.
So what advice would you give to other, maybe it be bloggers, fashion writers, anybody in the industry, to not necessarily replicate your success, but sort of get their own piece of the pie?
Be authentic. That's number one. Blog for the right reasons. That hopefully being your passion. And realize that it's fun. I probably went to 35 shows during Fashion Week. It was a blast. People complaining you're tired and whatnot, and yeah, I was tired. I do wish I was more awake in the last few days, but I just didn't like when some people were complaining. I just think that if you really love it and you really are passionate about it, you enjoy it. You know?